That's why I decided to do the Strategies for Change course. Is I suppose there is many reasons. I started with ILMI, attending ILMI workshops and events and different Zooms. Being part of ILMI was my first introduction to the social models. Before that, I suppose I kind of referred to myself as a person with a disability and unknowingly, kind of pushed into that atmosphere. And I liked the way um that was changing. And then I read about, strategies for change and getting to know activists and actually exploring in detail, social model versus medical model. The disability hierarchy I found very interesting. The core of strategies for changes is that by, speaking up for yourself and, you know, seeing yourself as a valued member of society and that you are the expert in your own life, that by your different interactions even with non-disabled people you can affect change for the better. So it was a number of things, but they all correlated. And I'm so glad that I did strategies for change. Course has made a big impact in my life, as in it's taught me more about the social model of disability. And now I'm happy to say that I'm a proud disabled woman. I'm able to speak openly to, I suppose, friends and advocate for myself openly when I feel like they aren't taking me seriously because of my impairment. As in, if the doctor or medical professional hasn't talked to me directly, I've been like, hold on a second, talk to me, like, just because I'm an impairment or just because I have a support person beside me, they're there for my support, but they don't know my medical history, as in, so the person you're actually communicating is the person that's actually sick, and the person that's sick is the disabled person, and the disabled person can talk for themselves. Thank you very much. And the strategies for change also has taught me about intersectionality, and that, right, my impairment is one part of me, but it isn't necessarily all that I am. So I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm dyslexic, I graduated college, um, I have friends, I have family, and now, luckily enough, I got the opportunity to work with a great organisation. It taught me a lot about how the way acts in this country are framed and how that can be detrimental for disabled people inadvertently. The Equality Act, as in they give a definition for a disability that is quite hurtful inadvertently, in like they actually think it's quite broad, but by being broad it actually disempowers disabled people. Like, basically framing a broken toe as a disability, it actually undermines the impact that impairments have on people. So it's lovely to hear Ashleen talk, and Ashleen being a disabled woman herself, and taking the initiative of taking on disabled discriminatory cases was just fascinating. I also liked hearing Des and fellow activists talking. I like It's funny, I kind of use some of the terminology now. Activism is like a muscle. If you don't use it, like, you kind of lose it, like, your muscle kind of, and the more you use it, it gets stronger. And like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm so lucky in a way that it strategies for change coincides with my work experience with ILMI policy assistant, specifically working with James. But then also having the backup of strategies for change to coincide perfectly at this particular time, because I'm like, even at meetings, I'm like, oh, we learned this from strategies for change. I can bring this into my role. I, thing, and I become more outspoken. It gives you I feel you feel more empowered as a disabled person. I would tell any disabled person that is thinking about doing the strategies for change course to just go for it. Like, even if you're unsure of, I suppose, the topics, and at the start they might conflict with your values, um, just give it a shot, because you learn so much from, I suppose, communicating with other people in the group. And like, over the weeks you'll find that your views will be challenged. In the course, you're not forced to see yourself as a disabled person, and that's the thing. You're just you're kind of questioned on like your opinions, and everything is like in a supportive atmosphere. So if you do have, issues, or, challenges, or, even if you need accommodations, all you have to do is talk to Fiona, or, you know, talk to other people in the group. And, everyone is so supportive of each other, and in a non-judgmental way. So you get great support. But also, you want to feel empowered, or if you want to learn how to speak up for yourself, and um you know participate fully, and embrace your impairment, basically. Strategies for change gives you the tools and the know-how to do that, and really examine yourself as a person. Near, like, 1 week you might be proud to be a disabled person, and the next week you're like, oh, something could have happened, and you'll be like, oh, this is not great, like, this is challenging. But when those things come up, you can always talk to Fiona and say, oh, this is not a week for me. And you can just listen then, and you're never forced to actually talk. You can just listen and say, look, I'm taking in the information. It will take me a while to process it, but I'll come back to you. And it's taught me a lot to, speak up for myself, and, be proud to be disabled. Never really had the tools or support, or, as I said to Fiona, I never really met another disabled person with my particular impairment that succeeded in education, or that wanted more for their lives. There's two Claires. There's Claire before she started ILMI, and there is Claire after she started ILMI. And Claire before she started ILMI was very shy, was very perfectionistic in her ways, was like, oh, I need to overcome this impairment, or, like, taking breaks is a sign of weakness, or, asking for help is a sign of weakness. I need to overcome this, whatever my challenge is. When the second Claire, after starting ILMI, and particularly in this context, starting strategies for change, it's like Claire, it's okay to ask for help. It's a sign of empowerment. You're actually conserving energy for things that are important to you. So it's it's amazing. Like, I'll be forever grateful for strategies for change and be given this opportunity. So, like, I would wholeheartedly encourage anybody that's listening to this to just communicate with Fiona. If you have any questions, just talk to people, or even talk to people that have done the course before, or engage with ILMI. Like, there's so many things that I've learned. Like, I thought that I knew my impairment, and I thought I knew, the different intricacies and how to stand up for myself. But what's really brought the whole thing together is, I do refer to my to ILMI as my little ILMI family, because it's like a support network. Um, like, I suppose when I'm going through tough times, I can always talk to somebody that understands, and that's the most impactful thing because, before it was Claire, making a big deal about this issue and that issue, and like how do you expect non-disabled people to know everything, and you just need to kind of overcome this when ILMI can like say, oh yeah, that wasn't fair, and they understand, and they're like, oh, that happened to me, or so it's just the whole package that Strategies for Change has has done for me. So